Sit down. So maybe call out who is the first on your screen, Kevin.
Chantel, you're first.
And tell us, Chantel.
Oh,
Yay.
check. There is to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Is this not a good example of the learned wisdom? Shall I go one paragraph before?
Yeah, let's go.
This example.
You might have to go to the one before that.
Okay, another thing
No.
that you will want to be vigilant of, dear brothers and sisters, is the learned wisdom of the past. Let me give you an example that relates to the state of rebellion that was discussed within the text of this treatise. This example arose from one of those already guarded who was questioning the state of contentment. She quoted a learned priest and scholar who spoke of how he knew, as soon as he was content within the life of the monastery, that it was time to once again move out into the world. What he was really saying was that he saw the dawning of his contentment as the sign that one period of learning was over and that it was time to move on to the next. During the time of learning, this statement was consistent with learned wisdom. During the new time of sharing, there is no next phase of learning for you to move on to. There is no reason for you not to exist in continual contentment. Continual contentment will not stunt your growth or prevent you from sharing or from expressing yourself anew. Is this not a good example of the learned wisdom that needs to be left behind? But what of the questions it raises? Do you not respond to the idea of continual contentment with doubt?
Mhm. Yes.
Not only doubt that it can be continual, but with doubt that you would desire it to be. These questions relate to our earlier discussion of temptations of the human experience. Are you willing to leave them behind?
No way.
Are you willing, for instance, to leave behind the idea that contentment cannot and should not last? That lasting contentment, like unto a lasting peace, would somehow stunt your growth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you see that your idea of growth was synonymous with your idea of learning?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
always both awaiting and dreading your next learning challenge.
Yes.
Hmm.
And here we have arrived at 12.14. Take it away.
Thanks for leading us in, Chantel.
Okay, so
Beautiful.
anyone who's just joined us, it's chapter 12, a prelude to the dialogues, and we're up to 12.14, and it's my turn to read. Why was this so?
Answer that.
I forget.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Good answer.
You
My
eagerly...
ego. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Anthony.
My ego wants to be better.
You have an ego.
An
Your,
ego.
your,
I
your
have an
ego,
ego.
your ego is better, Anthony.
Thank you.
And who is the I that has the ego? No, 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 no. I didn't say that.
Why? Why?
Ah,
Oh, it's so good.
Why was this so? You eagerly awaited each learning challenge in the hopes that it would bring you to the state in which you now abide. You dreaded each learning challenge because you feared that it would not bring you to this state and that you would continue to need to learn and to perhaps suffer from the conditions of learning. You have arrived. We should have saved that one from Kim when Kim turned up. The long journey that brought you here is over. Grow not impatient or desirous of a return to journeying before you begin to experience the joy of sharing and the new challenges of creating the new. This will be joyous journeying, and your challenges will be joyous challenges. I'm having trouble reading a bit today. Sam, can you want to keep going?
12.15.
12 point. Yep,
16.
16, is it? 16. I think.
16. The state of rebellion was the effect of the cause of learned wisdom. It became part of the nature of the human experience by becoming so consistent within you that it came through the passing down of the human experience to be integral to your nature. Have you not always been told and seen examples of men pushing against his limits? Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
this pushing against limits being called progress? Yeah. Have not even the most devastating misuses of power attained through this rebellion been seen retrospectively as having advanced the cause of man's evolution in society's knowledge?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
This is just a beginning point of your ability to see what learned wisdom has wrought. This is a necessary end point of your review of your experience here so that you do not continue to advance learned wisdom. Learned wisdom will tell you to work hard. Learned wisdom will tell you that the strong survive, the mighty prevail, the weak shall perish. Right? I attempted to dislodge much of this learned wisdom during my time on earth, and man is still puzzling over the meaning of my words. The time for puzzlement is over. Pass on no more of the prevailing learned wisdom. I told you once we would create a new language, and thus we shall. We are creators of the new, and we must start somewhere. Why not here? Think and speak no more of the suffering of the past.
Yay.
Spread Speak no more of the suffering of the past. Right?
Yes.
Spread the joy, the joyous news. Tell only joyous stories. Advance the idea of joyous challenges that allow for all the creativity you have put into challenges of the past, but without the struggle.
Mm.
Let not the idea of struggle take hold in the new. Let not the idea of fear take hold in the new. Let not the idea of judgment take hold in the new. And announce announce far and wide freedom from the old ideas, the learned wisdom of old. What could be more invigorating, more challenging, more stimulating to enrichment than throwing out the old and beginning again? And doing so without effort, without struggle. What could be more looked forward to than the chance to create the new through sharing in unity and relationship with your brothers and sisters in Christ?
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, we've had Annalie and Dennis join us while we've been reading. We're up to chapter 12, a prelude to the dialogues. And we're up to 12 point, looks like, can someone read that? 19.
1-9.
There you go, Dennis, you found it?
Oh, I don't have a book. I'm sorry.
It's going to be hard to find it. Oh.
I'm not reading either, but I thought that was very auspicious that I'm sitting in a new apartment as I become anew. Thank you.
Okay. Ruben, would you like to read?
12:19. I know you still have questions. Dear brothers and sisters, I know that you will experience times of not knowing how to proceed. I know that you will occasionally have setbacks and choose the conditions of learning instead of sharing in unity in order to realize some bit of knowledge that you feel is necessary before you can go on. But I ask you to try to remember, to turn to the new. I repeat, I ask you to try to remember, to turn to the new rather than the old each time you think you are experiencing uncertainty or lack. The only thing that is going to hold you back from your ability to sustain Christ consciousness is doubt about yourself. You must constantly remember that doubt about yourself is fear, and reject the instinct so ingrained into your singular consciousness to let doubt of yourself take hold of you. Wow. Even though you are abiding now in the state of Christ consciousness, the pattern of the old thoughts will continue until they are replaced by a new pattern. The self-doubt arises in your thought patterns will not mean that you have cause for self-doubt. You have no cause for self-doubt because you have no cause for fear. To dwell in fear will end your ability to dwell within the love that is Christ consciousness. As there is no longer any cause for self-doubt, there are no reasons for self-doubt. Do not examine yourself for reasons for self-doubt when it arises. The self-centeredness of the final stage of learning is over. One more.
This is loaded, eh?
Your centeredness must now be focused on sharing in unity in relationship, and thus creating a new unity in relationship, along with the creation of a new language, another imperative creation, with which to begin our new work is that of new patterns. The patterns of all were patterns designed for the optimal benefit of learning. These patterns were created by the one mind and heart that you share in unity with God. The new patterns of sharing and unity in relationship and thus creating unity in relationship are only now being created by the one mind and heart that you share in unity with God.
No.
You will be the co-creator of the new pattern of consciousness that is sharing in unity and relationship as you were once the co-creator of the pattern of consciousness that was learning. Thank you.
Read that last sentence again, will you please, Ruben?
Your centeredness must now be focused on sharing in unity and relationship, and thus creating a new in unity in relationship, along with the creation of a new language, another imperative creation with which to begin our new work is that of new patterns. The patterns of all were patterns designed for the optimal benefit of learning. These patterns were created by the one mind and heart that you share in unity with God. The new patterns of sharing in unity and relationship and thus creating unity and relationship are only now being created by the one mind and heart that you share in unity with God. You will be the co-creator of the new pattern of consciousness that is sharing in unity and relationship, as you were once the co-creator of the pattern of consciousness that was learning.
Thanks, Ruben. Cole, were you going to say something before about the previous paragraph? You're on mute.
I was just going like, oh my God, let's pause for a moment.
Yeah, it's a lot, eh?
Yeah, it's really huge. It's really huge. I got really kind of paused. I couldn't even go on after 12:18. And it's a think and speak no more of the suffering of the past. Because it's such a thing these days. Mulling around over and over and basically putting that in a will again to create it again. And it's such a game changer. Spread the joys news. Oh, I don't know, it just really moved me. My heart just went pop. And then I could not hear anything after that. But that's just me.
When I heard the words, something like focus on the unity and relationships or relationship, the old mind went to, oh yeah, that's with others. And then the new mind said, that's with God. There's just one. That's the focus. Get that right, and then every other relationship is in the right mind, in the heart.
Yeah. Wow.
I can still feel the part of me that's in the old. We talked about the ego and oh fuck,
Mm-hmm.
just creating from
Yeah.
striving. Oh, it's such a fucking masculine thing. More learning, better.
Mm-hmm.
And I can feel it locked in my heart. Sort of like, oh, so anxiety and but then I can feel the new and the just the joining and the love and the
Mm.
here now and the
Yeah.
oh, it's just I feel like I'm
Yeah.
locked between the two, like coming and going all the time.
Just
Yeah.
just think of
Oh,
it like it's a golden lock, you know? It's just like a very sweet little lock.
golden lock.
Like it's in
I can
Goldilocks.
feel that.
the
Golden.
Goldilocks, yeah.
I was thinking of golden shower.
See?
That'll
Spread the
unlock
joyous news. Like, you
it.
know, have a closer look at what's holding you back.
The divine golden shower.
Yeah.
You know, I closed my eyes. I missed that.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Spread the joyous news. Tell only joyous stories.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's very cool.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
this whole book.
It's a similar thing as like, who would you be without that thought?
Yeah,
You know, it's the same thing. Like, you already accomplished. With that thought, you accomplished with that thought, but you already accomplished. And if you grab any idea, you will travel with it.
totally.
Yeah. Someone once said to me, step onto a path and you sure will walk it.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
I have to share something now. It's coming through, if that's okay.
Only if it's coming through.
Yeah,
If you're channeling.
definitely. So I got a strong thought to go for a walk at Cape Schanck a few days ago. And prior to that, I've been pretty cloistered inside through a lot of cleansing and winter. And I decided to go for that walk. It was like the sun came out, the wind died down, and I got on the path. And I don't know if any of you have been to Bushrangers Bay track, but it's just absolutely stunning. And the path is sandy and soft. It's got like little seed pods on it and leaves, and the birds were just going off. I haven't heard so many birds singing so loudly in a long time. And I asked Jesus to illuminate the path. So I got the thought to walk in bare feet, and it's a long walk and couldn't wipe the smile off my face. And then on the way back, after I'd sort of got to the bay and sat with the crushing waves and just sort of laid down in the sand and just really rested, I walked back and I got the thought, just walk really slowly. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. Just walk slowly and stop if you need to, pause. So I was really in this very, very deep kind of almost like a trance. And suddenly someone came up behind me very suddenly and quickly, and I just got a really big fright. So like, oh God, who's that? Because they were running. And there was a woman who was sort of jogging, and her energy was friendly, and she apologized because she noticed that she'd given me a fright. And I said, oh, you meet the nicest people in national parks. And she sort of waved and went on her way. And then I noticed just up the path, she paused and picked up a stick, and she wrote something in the sand on the path. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I didn't see her again, but what I saw was all the messages that she left on the path with her stick. And the first message was, "That's it!" Exclamation mark. I'm like, wow, that's it. And then up ahead, there was a heart and a smiley face, and it was just so beautiful. And then this morning, I was thinking about that walk and how I'd asked Jesus to illuminate the path. And I was doing a meditation with a teacher who's a friend of Bruno Gruning. I have followed a spiritual master called Bruno Gruning for about 10 years. And she read a quote from him, and it said, "That's it!" Exclamation mark. And it just rounded it all off for me. And now I'm here. Thank you. And the past has been really showing up in the thoughts big time since I've been a lot quieter in my life. And it's sometimes it can feel like a retreat, like back into the past. But what I'm feeling is it's like it's got to be seen for what it is and handed over to a greater power. And it's just thoughts. It's nothing else than that. It's nothing.
Well, there's no greater power than you, darling.
Yeah, that's what I
all we
mean.
need to, like, that Jesus is your own heart speaking to you. There's
Yeah,
no one else out there. It's really the being, the God is the being you are.
yeah. I totally feel that.
Yeah.
That's just feels like I've deepened into that without trying. It's just happened, and it's changed everything for me.
Beautiful.
Oh, Alison, when you're ready, you can take us forward.
Are we up to 22, Kevin?
Yes.
There's such a huge, huge mountain what was just read.
Mm-hmm. It is, isn't it? That's where I'm just fully stuck in almost this, like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like it's just a huge challenge to leave the past behind, to let learning go, all that stuff. And actually, during the week, I was reading some of this chapter, and the lesson, "I loose the world from all I thought it was," came into my mind. So I went and did it, and I could really feel something was moving as I did it. Like I really applied myself to it, and but I just feel like it's huge. It's such a held pattern. It can be, like it's such a held pattern.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, I like that last sentence in the last paragraph. You will be the co-creator of the new pattern of consciousness that is sharing in unity and relationship, as you were once the co-creator of the pattern of consciousness that was learning. Again, let me remind you that we are speaking of the new. There has always been a state of consciousness that we are here calling Christ consciousness. There has never been a sustained Christ consciousness in form. The Christ consciousness that has always existed, a consciousness of what is an all-inclusive consciousness, the consciousness of the embrace. It is not a learned state, as was the singular consciousness of the human form. It is your innate consciousness, a consciousness far too vast to be learned, but one easily shared by all.
Amazing.
I don't know that I could take it in or read any more.
I think we're pretty much discombobulated by this. And it's like that thing, it's like, let that keep taking you. It's like our mind is just dislodged right now. Anybody can relate to that?
Yeah.
And then just continue with that dislodgement. Okay, like, oh, let that take us. Be taken, allow yourself to be taken into that, not trying to figure out an answer because there is no answer.
There's no what, Cole?
There's really not an answer, like a perceptual answer. It's not what it's
Oh,
about.
answer. Okay.
Yeah. I always see it as being taken by unifying field. Yeah, it just takes us into that sameness we all come from.
You said the consciousness of what is, right?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at my cat Simon, and I've got a mirror in the garden that I've just put there. And he's not looking at himself. He doesn't see his self, his body. So cool. He's not looking at a past when he looks at himself in the mirror. He's not looking at a form. You know, it's a symbol of it.
Mm.
We're on 22?
23.
23.
I've been happy in the last couple of months.
Being happy as a past.
You haven't been here, Dennis.
Yeah, it's that Catholic school do it every time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's you haven't been coming, Dennis. Haven't been coming to the groups. Maybe that's why you're happy.
There was so much energy when I felt that.
Yeah, beautiful. That's the trick, to feel it. Can we handle a bit more?
Pardon me?
Shall I read some more, or someone else can go on?
You can read some more if you are up to it.
Mm.
Can manage.
In other words, you, as a being of singular consciousness, could learn the thought patterns of a singular consciousness because it was a finite consciousness, a consciousness with limits. You, as a being joined in Christ consciousness, must share this consciousness in order to know it. It cannot be grasped by the singular consciousness. You could think of this as something which, were integrated into the thought processes of the singular brain, would cause brain damage because it would cause an overload of information. The singular consciousness would act like a computer with a full drive and reject the information or be overcome by it if such were possible. Such is not possible because Christ consciousness is not available to the separated self. Christ consciousness is the consciousness of unity, for unity is what is. You now exist within a shared consciousness. The pattern of a shared consciousness is one of sharing in unity and relationship. There is no pattern within it for learning, which is individual, for individual gain, or for individual accomplishment. Thank you.
It's amazing, that sentence. It cannot be grasped by a singular consciousness. So you have an experience. What's the first thing you want to do is to grasp it. Oh, now I had this experience. Now I have it. Now I'm limited again. Rather than just sharing it by giving it away. You as a being joining Christ consciousness must share this consciousness in order to know it. It cannot be grasped by the singular consciousness. Wow. It's like every paragraph is like a
So what might seem like wrong to a singular consciousness could really be joining for the person that's actually doing it, saying, or whatever the action might be. As long as it's sharing. I'm just floating this out there. As long as it's sharing and it's done in that spirit. Because I've just started to just say like what's on my mind, or to almost everybody. I moved into town, so I now have people around. And for a long time, I've just been afraid to be myself. And I just started to do this, to just say what's on my mind. And I did meet a woman, yeah. And this love that I felt in sharing with her, that I wanted to share it with everybody. When I moved into town, I wanted to talk to everybody. I wanted to greet them. But I really, it was genuine, just a need to be reaching out. So sometimes that, like, my body starts to move, and I mean, I don't know I don't know what it is. Just like involuntarily.
That's it. Like the energy is trying to pass through. If you grasp it, you go like, oh, now I'm having this condition. Now you're holding on to it. Sometimes actually talking about it makes it even more physical. more held in a way. Like now I know what it is.
Yeah.
The Course of Love talks about this pass through. Just letting things pass through. Just let it pass through. Good, bad, ugly, magnificent. Just let it pass through. Is that sharing in unity is far beyond words. We're establishing a new way of communication where heart speaks to the heart, and it does not require language whatsoever. So how would you say what you had to say or have to say without saying much? Like if you had no mouth to speak, what would be the other way of saying it? You see that? By being it. And being it, you ooze it. And when you ooze it, you communicate it. Hmm. Hmm. Who's next, Kevin?
You are, Cole.
Oh, thanks. Is it 24?
25.
25. But realize, those of you who would mourn this as a loss, that you have already achieved all that was possible to achieve as an individual. The purpose of individual learning was the return to unity. Pause a moment here and celebrate this feat of a personal self. The personal self, the self-centeredness of the final stages of learning, has achieved the ultimate achievement possible. I just so grateful for the learning you have achieved. Bravo. Realize that it has made you new. Rejoice and be glad, and turn your attention to the new. Attend to the dawning of the consciousness of unity. It's like have a thought you haven't had before. Realize that is a truly new state. Realize that it is a truly new state, a state that cannot be learned, and stay in the awareness of which can only be revealed to you through unity and relationship. Realize this without fear, for I am with you. This is akin to being stranded in a foreign land with none of the ways you have learned how to adapt in the past being of service to you. This is how new this is, and more. But the difference is that you are not alone, and you are not in a foreign land, but return to your home of origin. What you cannot learn, you can remember. What you cannot learn will simply be known through sharing. Mm. Who's next, Kev?
Kim?
It is the way in which you will come to remember and share in unity that concerns you now, and what we are speaking of when we talk of patterns. There was a pattern to the process of learning that was shared by all learners and inherent to your natures. The means were different for each, but the pattern was the same. There was an overall design that ensured optimal learning, and that design was known to you in the pattern of that design. A pattern that was part of the pattern of your thoughts, even after the ego came to rule your thought system. Without this pattern, the ego could have succeeded in becoming the ruler of the personal self. Part of this design and pattern was the freedom of free will. Free will continues in the pattern of Christ consciousness. Love continues. The individual or singular consciousness that was appropriate to the time of learning does not continue. Thus, the new pattern is one of creation in relationship and unity rather than learning. What this means will be revealed to you and shared by all who abide within Christ consciousness, because you abide in the consciousness of unity through your choice.
Amazing.
Sure, Chantal, if you're still there, or Anthony, if you're reading today.
Maybe Anthony. Thank you.
Anthony, are you reading today?
I just pulled over. I'm driving. Maybe next time round.
Yep. Okay.
I'll just find the book on the phone.
That's all right. Back to me then. You do not have to choose to share because you cannot share. Cannot not share. I'll do that again. You do not have to choose to share because you cannot not share.
Oh.
Cannot. So you have to share, is that right?
It's so hard sharing. How do you work out how to share?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
You do not have to. Excuse me. You do not have to continually choose unity because you have already chosen unity and abide there. You do, however, have to refrain from choosing separation. You do have to refrain from choosing learning and the conditions of learning. You do have to refrain from choosing learning and the conditions of learning. It's a bit of a mind fuck, this paragraph.
Don't worry. You know, it says, it's like, if you don't understand, just accept you don't understand and move on. It will come. different times. Do you know how sometimes you read this and it's like, wow, and sometimes you read it and it's like, what the hell is he on about? It's how it works.
What will help you to remain doubt-free and thus free from and continually able to sustain Christ consciousness is coming to know the new design and the new patterns that reveal the design.
Could you read that sentence again, Kevin, please?
So long. What will help you to remain doubt-free and thus free,
Free.
What will help you to remain doubt-free and thus fear-free and continually able to sustain Christ consciousness is coming to know the new design and the new patterns that reveal the design. This new design and the new patterns that will be helpful to you in its sustainability are what must be created through our sharing in unity and be communicated through our continuing dialogues with one another. I think I'll pass it on to Samuel.
Let me just say something.
Yes.
I think there's a very important thing, and this is purely my experience, but it seemed to be what this is really about. And that real communication comes when, so it talks about 1228 says, free will continues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the will is part of you that feels. If that's not free, your communication is not free. All you left with is your mind to talk, right?
Mm.
When a will is free, you think a thought and your will being free begins to manifest it in truth. It begins to move you internally from the feet up. And that's what my experience is with this. The sentence comes in, and if my will is free to receive it, it will give it movement. And that movement is what communicates. Yeah, something moves and touches because you also feel it. And for me, that's the dialogue. Dialogue is not to talk, having a discussion. That this is dialogue when we drop into this free-flowing will within ourselves. And we feel each other. I feel what you feel what I feel. And that relationship between those two is what is being revealed. That's what reveals the new. It's like the birth of unity in each moment. Anyway, I just see free will as a very different word than it's often used as a free will to choose as you wish. All right.
Sorry, Cole, can you state that again, please? Like what you believe free will is?
Well, for me, free will is, and Course in Miracles actually talks about this a lot as well. So it says you have chained your will. You are the at-one-ment is we become one with our will, with the will of God, which is in us. But it has to be a free flowing. In most cases, our own self-attack have seriously maimed our free will, our will. It's just like beaten up. Any feeling arises, you nail it, you attack it. So I don't want to feel like this. And with that, you shut down the whole will.
Are you saying, Cole, that you see free will as freedom of feeling?
Freedom of feeling, absolutely. It
Right.
becomes a free-flowing agent that begins to communicate beyond what words can never cover. Because you can cover, like you have an experience of, you know how they talk about revelation is highly personal and cannot be meaningfully translated. Do you remember that line? This is the same. Cannot be meaningfully translated, but it can be totally meaningfully shared. And you can only share it if it's flowing in you. If your will is free to flow. If it's frozen and you're sitting on top of it, rambling in your mind, trying to describe what happened to you, and we need to visualize and imagine what happened to you. Now that's like a secondary message. Now I have to imagine what happened to you, and that will never be the same. However, if your will is vibrating and my will is vibrating, you send that vibration into me. I go, aha, I get it. Even before you tell me your story, I'm already on that communication. It's timeless, it's spaceless, it's got no, it's instantaneous. Cause and effect are completely one.
Beautiful, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
And what this book does, it constantly freeing our will. That's why sometimes you read and suddenly you just go like, whoa, and you feel like something just took you. And you have that experience?
Mm.
You just go, oh my God, let yourself be taken. That's the free will. It's basically taking you home. And I'm not saying the free will is the end product. The feel is some free will is something we need in order to unify it completely. Yeah.
Mhm.
I really got this paragraph 1229. Like, I really got the thing you do not have to choose to share because you cannot not share. I mean, that was a surprise to me. I was because like last week I was like, how do we share? How do you
Yeah.
And you do not have to continually choose unity because you've already chosen unity and abide there. So even when I'm feeling like I'm not abiding there, I am because I did choose it.
Yes.
And you do, however, have to refrain from choosing separation. And I just think of, that lesson, I need do nothing. I need to stop doing, actually.
Yeah. You actually need to do nothing.
I need to do nothing.
Yes, absolutely. And try that, because the minute you start doing it, you're doing that again. So it's like that's where the real surrender comes in.
Yeah. So I have to stop choosing learning, and the conditions of learning is like, oh, that is really, I find like that is a challenge, a huge challenge. That is a huge challenge for me. I'm so stuck in the pattern. But like he says, it's a pattern that was established, but now we're into a new pattern. Now we're establishing a new pattern of unity and relationship. So, which is joyous news.
It is a joyous news. It will move it will move part of you that has never moved. It has never vibrated. It's never been known to you.
Yeah.
That's the
Stop
revelation.
stopping it. Yeah.
Suddenly
Sorry.
something that has not been even like some of the experiences were like, I can't find that what happened written anywhere. Even NDE people are they're pretty much the most authentic that I know. Even that doesn't cover it. It's like, it's crazy what's available already within us. It's all there. And this is helping us to dislodge the mind from its fixed position, release it so it stops chaining the will, because you're the jailer of your will. You have the key. Yeah, it's all within. And when the will begins to flow again, we'll begin to remember the way we truly, yeah, truly functional as in unity. And it's a different level of learning. Yeah.
What paragraph are we? Paragraph
1231.
Emily was just saying that she could read. She hasn't had a read yet.
Yeah.
wait.
I've just got the course here, but I'm on chapter 12, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's
12:51.
only going to 12:25.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Different book. You might have the wrong book, or there's 3 books or something.
It's an online one, yeah.
It's the 4th treatise, and so.
All right, don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, you can have many chapters. There's a many 12 chapters, number 12, like 7 of them, I think.
Go ahead, Samuel.
So it's 12:31.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
This is a prelude to but one form of these dialogues. Sharing in unity is automatic. It is the nature of Christ consciousness. Once you have adapted to this nature, you realize that what is communicated through our dialogues and those you share with your brothers and sisters is simply communication of what already is. This will help you to adapt to the revelations that replace learning. This will help you to adapt to the truth of sharing you will have received even before it is communicated.
Yes.
Through the means to which you are accustomed. It will help us together to establish the new patterns by which you and those who come after you will more fully come to awareness of all they have inherited and all it is within their power to create. I do not have the answers that would continue to make of me a teacher and you a student. The answers to the elevation of the personal self and the Christ and the living Christ consciousness in form are yet to be revealed and shared. This is the time that is before us, the time of creation of the future, the time for the creation of a future not based upon the past. This time is before us because you are being still existing in form. You still exist in the realm of time and space. Yet time and space no longer separate us. And the creation of the design or creation that reveals our lack of separation is part of the creation that is before us. It will be mutually decided through the coming revelations and our responses to the revelations of the new. One more.
Yeah, you can even take us home if you like.
Creation of the new has begun. We are in an interactive part of the creative act of loving Creator. Creation is a dialogue. Creation, which is God and us in unity, will respond to our responses. Will respond to what we envision, imagine, and desire. Creation of the new could not begin without you. Your willingness for the new, a willingness that included the living behind of the old, a willingness that included the living behind of fear and judgment and separate will, was necessary to begin creation of the new. Your former willingness to accept the old, but kept creation's power harnessed to the old. Does this not make perfect sense when you realize that creation, like God, is not other than who you are?
Wow.
How could creation proceed onto the new without you? What will the future hold? It is up to us, dear brothers and sisters. It is up to us acting as one body, one mind, one heart. It is up to us creating as one body, one mind, one heart. Because it is the new future of the new form, joined in unity and relationship. The only guarantees that are known to us is that it will be a future of love, a future without fear, a future with unlimited freedom. What more could we ask? And what more could be asked of us?
Mm.
Make no mistake that what is asked of us is everything. What is asked is our total willingness to abandon the old, our total willingness to embrace the new. But also, make no mistake that what is given to us is everything. All the power of creation is released unto us. Let us begin.
Mm. Da-da-dum. Beautiful.
My takeaway, let us begin.
Yeah. The end of the introduction to the dialogues. Beautiful, huh?
Mm. Prelude is a musical term, isn't it, Cole?
Yeah.
What is that? It's like an introduction, is it?
Yeah, it's like bringing an atmosphere of some kind to what's coming.
Mm.
Let me prepare you. Let me calm you down. You can be receptive to the what's being given and served. Mm. There's a profound sentence in the 31. This will help you to adapt to the truth of sharing you will receive even before it is communicated through the means to which you are accustomed. Hmm. So imagine there is a completely different way of communicating than we have been doing up until now. Let's discover what that is. And it cannot be described. It cannot be anything except fully experienced. So you go, God, now talk to me. Beautiful darlings. Oh.
I just wanted to say something to you, Dennis. I love the way you share. It's always heartfelt, and I have a deep and abiding love for you. And I love it when you come onto the group. I just wanted to say that I just really love having you here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying that, because sometimes I think I'm not worthy to be here.
Oh, I love your presence here. I love your sharing.
That must be the old pattern, Dennis.
Pardon me?
That must be the old pattern.
Yes, yes, yeah. So if what I'm hearing, the thing that like happens for me is learning wants to jump in when we're reading something. It's like, oh yeah, that means, so the newness is when learning stops, when
Revelation
the
comes in.
Mm.
it's hard to get it out of my head. You know what I mean? To not learn it. I don't know if anybody else has this happening to them, but when it's read, I went, oh God, I can learn that. Or is this really? So it's like it's willful in a way. The learning is, and like the last couple of paragraphs are talking about willingness.
Well, just the sentence I read just before that sentence, it says, this will help you to adapt to the revelation that replace learning. This is incredible. This whole chapter is like crazy. I think it's got so much in it that's just if I was alone, I would probably just stop on the first paragraph and let it sink for a day.
So when there's no doubt, we all have it. We're one, right?
Yeah.
No doubt. No fear. No
Sort of
fear of
like
being wrong.
it's sort of like everything we need to know in any particular instant is already there.
Mm.
So we don't need to learn it because it's already there.
Yes.
Just tune into the revelation in each moment. Something like that. Yeah. But we always think we have to know how all the time.
Yes, that's the old pattern of learning.
Yeah. I just realized I was reading something yesterday and I kept asking, but how do I do that? Like, how do I do it? But there's no how. There just is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exercise that you gave us, Cole, that one of coming from the head, which is where, you're trying to work stuff out
Yeah.
and down to the heart, or even not quite there, but just to a place where you're not trying to work it out anymore and you're just
Anywhere out of this
listening.
little scope. Anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anywhere of this little scope. Even when you go just down here, you're already out. There's the thinking mind is just this tiny little overpowered little atom that's just going crazy.
Perfect.
But
Yeah.
really, but we're so accustomed giving it power, giving it power. Think, 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 think again, think, think, think.
my,
Yeah, it's
my,
kind of like listening from the heart, listening with the heart
Yeah,
instead of,
completely
yeah,
different way, isn't it?
just kind of
Yeah,
convoluted, trying to work stuff out.
that's it. Sam?
my playful mind, tells me I see this in the world already. Um, if you go to the store and buy an appliance like a refrigerator, or a cell phone. You know, you don't go home and say you want to learn how it works.
Mm.
You don't go and say, I want to learn how this refrigerator works. All you have to do is plug it in the electricity and it
Or it
works.
works. That's a
So,
good metaphor.
Yeah, that's good.
so, so you have this whole thing of Christ consciousness within you. You instead of looking to learn it, you need to get the energy of it
Yeah,
and
plug
then
into
manifest it instead of trying to learn it.
Yes.
And like God is saying, "Wow, I gave you all this. Why trying to figure it out?"
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, how
you
many of
already
you guys really read the instruction manuals these days? Not much, right? Like you buy
I
something,
never
no,
read.
you're like, let me just plug it in. It will just, let's see how it's gonna go. I
yeah.
rarely read instructions.
I
It's
think
all
that
like,
is the love that you have to look for. The
yeah,
love, because the love is all. You can't see. Love is like sometimes I look at it like a power plant. You know, it always generates, but you're not gonna see the evidence of it until you go to your house and turn on the lights, and then oh yeah, it's working. So the same thing. I think it's that love, quickens everything that you are and you experience it.
mm,
That's simple.
yeah, that's it.
You don't have to learn anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm, yeah,
Maybe it can't be described.
good. Just like I said, the revelation cannot be meaningfully translated. Just like the first verse in the Chinese Bible that says, the Tao that can be told is not eternal Tao. So if you can name it, it ain't it.
Mm. I'm just thinking of those gurus that just sit in silence and don't say anything.
Yeah.
That must be what
Everyone
they're
else
doing.
is sweeping their floors. Great trick. Just kidding. All right, darlings.
Wow.
You.
Thank you. We'll
Hmm.
be seeing you all very soon.
Mm.
Mm. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks everyone.
Yeah, beautiful. See ya, guys.